welcome Carl Weimer here today. He's also a Whatcom County Council member in my district, and Pipeline Safety Trust is located in a top floor of a renovated house in downtown Bellingham, Washington, and they do a lot with a little. And so welcome, Carl. And I also have a few questions for you as well, as it happens. Didn't want you to fly all the way out here and not have any questions asked of you. But the San Bruno disaster is an example where emergency order authority could have addressed some systematic deficiencies immediately. And we've talked a little bit about emergency order authority. Are there other instances that you believe would back up an argument for emergency order authority?
Yes, certainly. Thank you for the question. There's been a number of incidents in the last 10 years that I can think of. You know, San Bruno was a good example where it became apparent that that particular company was not interpreting the rules correctly. We heard from other companies around the country, perhaps they weren't either, but through the corrective action order, the PHMSA could only deal with PG&E. They couldn't deal with industry-wide. That's where emergency orders could step in. We've seen certain types of pipe that it's become after accidents obvious that it's a problematic type of pipe. You can correct the one company that's dealing with the pipe, you can't correct things industry-wide. So emergency order authority would allow PHMSA to move forward on things rapidly to correct things that become known to be an industry-wide problem.
Is there a reason that you've looked at why PHMSA doesn't have it versus these other federal agencies do have emergency order authority?
I don't know why it's not in the statute. I know there's other agencies like the Federal Railroad Administration that do have that authority. I think some others do also, and it certainly is needed.
Yeah. Do you have experience with the state inspection program in Washington State?
Yes, I'm actually appointed by the governor to be on an oversight committee of that program.
Yeah, and how does that work in terms, is that working in Washington State in terms of PHMSA delegation on inspection?
It is, and that's one of the areas where the Washington Utilities and Transportation Commission actually has a citizen-led pipeline safety committee that looks at what the industry and what the regulators are doing, and it works pretty well. And I think that gives an added layer in Washington State of inspectors looking at interstate pipelines. As Mr. Santa said, they can't set regulations that go above what the minimum federal standards are, but it does give us another layer of inspectors. And I think the Washington Utilities and Transportation Commission takes that and does a lot of added value to that. Like they post all of the inspection results for both interstate and intrastate on their pipeline, on their website. You know, I think that's the only state that I know of that posts actually the inspection results.
Yeah. And finally, for you, can you comment on the funding pipeline safety information grants to communities and what the law allows and what we're doing now for that?
Right. I think that was a grant program that was authorized in the 2002 bill. We helped push that through. It's a fairly small grant program that allows communities to hire technical expertise to help them understand pipeline issues. Lots of good stuff has come out of it. A lot of communities have upgraded their GIS systems so their public works people and their emergency responders actually understand where pipelines are in those communities. Done a lot of first responder training, call before you dig training. It's allowed in particular communities that have a concern with a particular pipeline to hire an expert to come in. We recently did one of those in California in the East Bay area where a neighborhood association asked us to come in and look at it, and they had a very big concern with a particular pipeline owner. When we looked at it, we pointed out to them that particular pipeline probably wasn't as high a risk as they thought, but we pointed out some issues where local governments really needed to think about how they were training their emergency responders, and school districts that had pipelines running right next to schools had never thought about evacuation plans for that. So I think it's been a valuable program that helps build trust in pipeline safety.
Thanks. And Ms. Dominguez, can you comment on the state program and what your plans are for that in this what do you call it, PHMSA 2021 plan?
The state program has been a very successful program. It is our way to actually work very directly with the states, and we want to make sure that not only is that continues to be a robust program where the state inspectors carry out as was stated, the federal requirements, but then go above and beyond what any particular state requirements may be. Hope to continue to reinvest in that and make sure that it's just as robust moving forward.
Well, I appreciate hearing that as you're moving forward and reorganizing that
Absolutely.
stays a major part of what you do. Thank you. Yield back.